We are live, Rooftop Live, Golden Hour Live. What a Sunday to watch football. I mean, you realize how good the NFL's product is when you just get to sit home and chill. And because the 49ers play on Monday night, got to watch all of this great Sunday action here from San Francisco. 49ers are going to face Shedeur Sanders. We saw the Browns win with Shedeur. I know it wasn't all that impressive of a victory. It was against the Raiders, who are terrible, but he didn't play poorly. And the 49ers and Browns, that's coming up a week from now in Cleveland. And we just watched the Cowboys score 24 unanswered points to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And, you know, one thing that I'll say is that if I'm the 49ers, I would not fear playing Philadelphia. I think they are offensively limited with Jalen Hurts. Yes, they've got Saquon Barkley. Yes, they've got A.J. Brown. But that's a team that could not score after they went up 21-0 against the Dallas defense that isn't good. I understand they've got Quinn and Williams now, but the Cowboys are not great defensively, and they just got stonewalled, the Eagles did, over the course of much of that game. And I think the 49ers will be able to score against anyone. In fact, the test against Cleveland is going to be very, very telling. That's a Jim Schwartz defense, has given Kyle Shanahan a lot of trouble in the past. Obviously, Myles Garrett is an all-everything player. If the 49ers can go and score at Cleveland on a short week next week, then I think they can score against anyone. And then, yeah, you worry about the 49ers defense, but they can be in any game against any team if Brock Purdy and company and this whole strength offense can deliver for them on a consistent basis. So anyway, we're here. We're in Russian Hill, Francisco. I'm giving you guys the full tour. We are reacting to all the NFL games here at Golden Hour. There's downtown. There's Coit Tower. Look, there's a ferry boat coming in through Alcatraz. And of course, we have the Golden Gate Bridge. I think that we need to be looking at downtown, though. Downtown is the view, right? Yeah, downtown's the view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera here. I'm going to tilt this up. We're going to put in a little bit of a zoom right here. Yeah, we could see downtown. I'm going to bring my laptop over, and we're going to talk because this was just a fun Sunday to watch football and reset expectations, maybe just get a little bit of a grip on the rest of the league as the 49ers prepare for the Carolina Panthers tomorrow. You're going to see me walk in front. I have to go get my laptop, so just give me 1 second. Hopefully the mic works even if I walk all the way this far. I'm on the other side of the roof right now. I'm going to walk backwards just in case so you guys can hear me. But boy, the 49ers, they could sit home today, I'm sure they did, and watch a lot of this. The morning games were so fun. They were so, like 4 or 5 games that came down to the last couple minutes. And, you know, watching on Red Zone, it's almost like sensory overload. And that's why you're reminded of how good this league's product is. But San Francisco got to watch the Bears beat the Steelers. Now, that's not good for the 49ers. They wanted Pittsburgh to win that because the 49ers are embroiled in a race with the Chicago Bears in the NFC. So the Bears moved to 8-3, 31-28. Caleb Williams had a terrible play where TJ Watt was able to strip him and turn that into a touchdown for Pittsburgh, but still Chicago was able to win. So somehow those guys are 8-3. That's going to be a test for the 49ers defense playing against the Bears on December 28th. Then we watched the Patriots beat the Bengals. That ended up being more competitive than I thought it was going to be. That game has no implications on the 49ers whatsoever. I thought that the New York Giants might give San Francisco a little bit of a break, but they didn't. The Giants, that was horrific. They had 3 timeouts in their pocket when they let that game go to overtime, and then what did they think was going to happen? Lions went ahead and beat them 34-27 with a TD in overtime, and then they stopped Detroit. Then they stopped New York. I think it was Jahmyr Gibbs with a long touchdown run in OT. When you're an underdog like that, like the New York Giants were, they're 2-10 now, you don't play for overtime. If you got 3 timeouts, then you go for the kill, especially when you had nearly 500 yards of total offense. That was an embarrassing game and an embarrassing decision from their interim coach, whoever his name is. I I don't even know, but I wouldn't want him coaching my football team after making a decision like that. Just cowardly from the Giants. And the Lions win. They're 7-4. They have the same record as the 49ers. And the 49ers have a chance to be 8-4 with a win over Carolina tomorrow. Packers beat the Vikings 23-6. No surprise there. The Chiefs, Kansas City, they save their season. I'm still here. Trust me. I'm still here with the Golden Gate Bridge behind me. I just wanted to give you guys the best view. Look, a little fire escape ladder by me. But the Kansas City Chiefs were down 20-9 to the Colts and found a way to pull it out. So you have to tip your cap to Kansas City. It might have been a season saver for Kansas City. They're now 6-5. That was the difference between 5-6 and 6-5, which is massive at this point of the year. I think it's probably 70% playoff probability for the Chiefs. It might have been as low as 28% had they lost. So credit to them. They outscore Indianapolis 14-0 in the second half. The reason that's significant is because the 49ers play the Colts a month from now on December 22nd. The Colts entered this game rated as the NFL's top offense. Mike had talked a lot. We had suspected that the Colts would fall off offensively with Daniel Jones at quarterback. And, you just don't know if that team's offense is going to age at an elite level throughout the entire course of the year. Today suggested that actually might be the case. They were stonewalled after they scored 6 points in the second half, but they were stonewalled in the fourth quarter. They were outscored over the final two quarters, fourth quarter and overtime, 14-0 by the Kansas City Chiefs. Not a good sign for the Colts offense. Now, I get it. The 49ers don't have a good defense, but I really think that if you fast forward a month to that Indianapolis game, and if San Francisco stays healthy offensively, that is a football game that if you're the 49ers, I think you could win 38-35. I think that you can get a couple stops at least against the Colts, but Brock Purdy and the 49ers' high-powered offense in a dome at Indianapolis, that's a game they can win in shootout style. What we're seeing right now in general is that everyone, like absolutely everyone, is beatable in this league. And that's the way the NFL wants it. That makes a good product. But it sets the 49ers up for contention entering the backstretch of this season, and obviously starting tomorrow night against the Carolina Panthers. Seahawks hung on against the Titans. It wasn't as close as it seems, 30-24, but Tennessee fought and fought and fought. 49ers get the Titans after their bye week in December. We just saw Jacksonville go into Arizona and win 27-24. So the Jags have the same record as the 49ers at 7-4. I think the 49ers are a better team than the Jags. They did lose to them, but that was with, 6 drops. I don't think that's going to happen again for San Francisco. Cleveland, as I said, beats the Raiders 24-10. If you guys want some stats to go along with a view of downtown San Francisco, I got to position this well, but here you guys go. 24-10. The Cleveland Browns beat the Raiders. The reason I'm giving you stats right now is because Shedeur Sanders, 11 of 20, 209 yards. I mean, not a prolific performance by any stretch, but we got to remember, and let me show you the team tier chart. Entering this game, and it didn't get much better in this game. I mean, all they did was beat the Raiders. Who knows how long Pete Carroll's going to hold on to that job. But if you look at the team tier chart of the NFL, the Browns are all the way over here. Do you see them? They're all the way in the upper left. That means their defense is really good, but the offense is terrible. If Shedeur Sanders brings any sort of stability or any sort of improvement to the offense, Cleveland can move over this way, and combined with a good defense, like if he moves them over one tier, say that he's not horrific, I mean, that's a team to be reckoned with. I think even with a terrible offense, with how good Myles Garrett and how good that defense is, you see them up there in the upper left, that is a team to be reckoned with. I mean, the 49ers, they went into Cleveland in 2023, and the Browns gave them their first loss. And they were starting P.J. Walker at quarterback. I mean, it wasn't a good situation for the Browns offensively, but it was raining a little bit. The 49ers were beaten up offensively. They found a way for the 49ers to settle for field goals, and then Jake Moody missed twice in that game. Brock Purdy drove the 49ers into winning range, but it still wasn't enough because Jake Moody missed at the end. And the point leaving that game was that Jim Schwartz knows how to coordinate a really good defense, and Myles Garrett and company, those guys are, I mean, he gives Trent Williams nightmares. When Trent says that, he wakes up in cold sweats the week before facing Myles Garrett and company. So the Browns, this is a dangerous team. The 49ers will be favored. First, they've got to take care of the Carolina Panthers, but it's going to set up this Shedeur Sanders San Francisco matchup, and we know the 49ers defense is not good right now. I'm going to make a bold proclamation, though. I'm going to flip the camera here over toward me and the Golden Gate Bridge here. How do we get the Golden? There it is. Do you guys see the Golden Gate Bridge? We can see both of the towers. If I go this way, you could see everything. So my bold proclamation is, if the 49ers can score against the Browns, like by that I mean if they can put up 30 at Cleveland. I don't know what the weather conditions are going to be next week. Maybe I should see that here up on my screen. But if the 49ers can score against Jim Schwartz and company, they can score against anyone in the league. And that would really, really ascertain my belief that the 49ers are real contenders this year, because there is no overpowering team in the entire NFL. The Rams might be the closest to that, but their special teams does not make them a fully complete team. And the 49ers might have had a window to win that game if they hadn't thrown up on themselves offensively at the start of that Rams game. I mean, they beat the Rams with their skeleton crew back in week 5. So with no dominant team in this league, and we see that when we're watching NFL on this Sunday without the 49ers playing, all you have to have is one really strong phase, and then you have to have it complemented on any given Sunday by one of the other two phases. And the 49ers have special teams in their back pocket as the top-ranked unit in all of football ever since they cut Jake Moody. So they've got the offense with Purdy back and all these receivers. And, you know, we could talk about Brandon Aiyuk if you want in a little bit. But they've got the offense. I know they don't have the defense, but they're trying to be as opportunistic as they can. And in a wide-open league, they've got a shot. And I think that Cleveland game next week is going to be very, very telling as far as what can this 49ers offense do against a top-flight defense as the season turns into worse weather around the league. Now, not every place is as beautiful as San Francisco. You know, like Cleveland is not San Francisco. Cleveland probably doesn't have days like this in late November or early December. Let's look at the Cleveland weather forecast right now. Cleveland 10-day weather, because that's where the 49ers are going to be headed. I mean, right now in Cleveland, it's 34 degrees. On Sunday, November 30th, when the 49ers are scheduled to play the Browns in 1 week, it's going to be 43 degrees with some rain showers. I mean, you're looking at downtown San Francisco right in front of you here from the rooftop. I can show you the Cleveland weather. I mean, you see blue skies, or you see at least skies where we can do a nice show from the rooftop. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this in Cleveland, because as you can see, I mean, that's Cleveland's weather. And then the Sunday to 30th, 43 degrees, showers, 59% chance of rain. Yeah, it's going to be a harder day to move the football. If the 49ers can move the football on that day in Cleveland against that defense, that coordinator, Jim Schwartz, I think that very, very fun times are coming for San Francisco. Look, we can flip this around. You see downtown San Francisco here, that's good West Coast Bay Area weather. If we flip it toward the Golden Gate, that's a little more ominous, right? You've got some clouds coming in. It's still not Cleveland. It's still better than Cleveland, but it's definitely not what we saw the other way looking back at downtown San Francisco. Somebody said, weather forecasts are unreliable right now. Check again in 4 days. Bro, it's Cleveland in late November or December. I don't actually need this forecast to reliably know that the weather is not going to be good. It's Cleveland. And like every single day has got showers in it, because the weather forecaster knows that it's freaking Cleveland. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows in Cleveland at this time of the year. 49ers went there in October when they lost the game in week 6 of the 2023 season. And it already was blustery and hard to kick there. I think the 49ers really hope to have Eddie Pinheiro back before they go to Cleveland. But maybe Matt Gay could do it. I don't know. We shouldn't count out Matt Gay. But first, the 49ers have to beat the Panthers. They're 7.5-point favorites tomorrow. And in a few minutes, we're going to have a great Sunday night football game, by the way. We're not done yet today. We're going to have the Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That Rams game, I'm guessing the Rams are favored in that football game. Probably not by too much because Tampa Bay can do some really, really nice things as well. But we just saw the Eagles lose. So when you look at the NFC conference standings, Philadelphia has left LA as the only two-loss team in the entire NFC. So here you have the standings in the NFC. The Rams, number one. If the Bucs can somehow upset them, then the Rams will drop to 3 losses as well. And that would mean the 49ers are only 1 game out in the loss column of the NFC lead, right? The 49ers are, as you can see, at that 7 seed at 7-4. So 49ers fans should be cheering for Tampa Bay tonight because Tampa Bay, if they win, will be 7-4, same record as the 49ers, and the 49ers would be only a game behind the Rams. It would be extremely clustered at the top of the NFC. Mike, what is the betting line? I'm just guessing. I just want to guess know what the betting line between the Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is. That game is in LA. It's at SoFi Stadium between the Rams and the Bucs. And as you can see, the Rams are on a winning streak. They have not lost since they faced the 49ers and lost to the Skeleton Crew back in Week 5. That is 5 straight wins for the Rams against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. It's Rams -7. I think the Rams are the best team right now in the league, at least when you talk offense and defense. I mean, we should go back to the team tier chart here as we take a look at this is the Golden Gate Bridge, as you guys can see. Maybe I should zoom in. I can't zoom in because I have to show you guys the team tier chart with my laptop. This is why I think the Rams are the best team in the league right now. You guys see the Rams in the upper right? They're the closest thing to an elite offense-defense combination in the NFL. You know, other teams are either good at one or maybe good at special teams too. That's not on this table. The Rams are good at both, and they've been surging with those 5 straight wins. So right now, I see the Rams as the best team in the league, but special teams is an Achilles heel for the Rams, and they've already lost to the 49ers, Skeleton Crew again, so I don't see them as unbeatable. You see Tampa Bay is a couple tiers down. Tampa Bay is above average offense and defense. Tampa Bay is like right there. Do you guys see them? I'm pointing at Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay is not bad either, but they're not at the Rams level. But we'll see if Baker Mayfield, the former Rams quarterback for a game, right? Do you guys remember that? Baker Mayfield started for the Rams to beat the Raiders a couple of years ago. I think that was a Thursday night game. We'll see what he can do for Tampa Bay against his former team, one of his former teams tonight. Another former team of Baker Mayfield's is the Carolina Panthers. 49ers played Baker Mayfield last time they faced the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey was on Carolina. Look at that. You've got Ghirardelli Square. Do you guys like that the light tower of the former chocolate factory is lit up? You could hear the cable car dinging its bell. There's where I swim. There's Alcatraz. There's the laptop. And there is downtown San Francisco. Awesome. I think, Golden Gate is starting to get a little bit darker. I think we should walk over this way. I'm going to grab my laptop. Very loud cable car. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I've got my mic on so you guys can hear me. Cable car is going right underneath us on Hyde Street. All right, this is a good spot for the tripod. Can you guys hear the cable car? Give me a thumbs up if you can. All right, I'm going to frame this really perfectly. So you get downtown and you get Coit Tower in the background, and you guys can see the lights start to come on. Do you see the Embarcadero Center, by the way? They turned on the Christmas lights the other day. I'm zooming in on part of the Embarcadero Center and the Bay Bridge. The Embarcadero Center has the Christmas trim lights, which came on. All those buildings, you can see all of them at the right side of the screen. Anyway, we'll zoom out. Mike's saying that it's lagging every time I move. Well, I won't move too much then. We'll just keep it here. Mike, how is it right now? let me know. I'll stay in this spot if I have to. I mean, I don't know why it's lagging, but be good. Chiefs against Cowboys is going to be a really good Thanksgiving game. That's coming up in just a few days. Coming on Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We are about 12 minutes away from kickoff of the Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And hopefully everything is coming through loud and clear. Somebody's saying, David assumes the Niners score 30 plus every game. No, I don't assume that. I predict these games, and I don't always predict 30 plus every game. I am here to give you the formula. I'm here to talk strategy, and if you're not smart enough to realize that I'm talking strategy and the 49ers pathway to winning, go watch one of the many channels that's much worse than this one. That's not going to give you any views. That's not going to give you any food. That's not going to give you any smart 49ers analysis. I mean, what an idiotic comment. David is automatically thinking the 49ers are going to score 30 plus. No, they have to score that many points on average if they're going to shoulder a defense without Nick Bosa, without Fred Warner, without Mykel Williams. It doesn't take all that much to put 2 and 2 together. So that's the pathway for the 49ers. There's not an assumption that they'll score 30 plus. There is a requirement that they are going to have to do that if they want to be a team that truly contends for a title this year, given their injury situation. You know, earlier today we talked about Brandon Aiyuk, and I'm willing to talk about him again if you want. But I think that this Aiyuk situation is actually one where people are getting a little lost in the weeds, trying to talk about the past and all this, the crazy drama. Looking through the drama for Brandon Aiyuk, remember the simple truths in this situation. Aiyuk is still under contract through 2028 for the 49ers. If he is cleared, and he might be close to being cleared medically by the 49ers staff, and he's obviously been rehabbing there in the building. That's an important fact to note. If he's cleared, he'll have to participate if he wants to be paid. So it makes a lot of sense. Like I said earlier this morning, the 49ers might be close to opening his practice window. Get your popcorn out if that happens, if Brandon Aiyuk's practice window does open up, because even if there is a rift with the 49ers, if he wants to get paid and if he needs the money, and I think anybody would need the type of money that the 49ers are paying him, if he wants to be paid, then he's going to have to participate and play ball. And I think there's a chance the 49ers might be setting this up just to force the issue with Brandon Aiyuk. Either you get a good player back in the fold, another option, or if he doesn't play, if the rift grows wider and he refuses to play, then you don't have to pay him. Then you get some money back, even more money back than the guarantees that you're able to void for 2026. So it makes sense for the 49ers to force this issue with Brandon Aiyuk, and I think that the very simple truth of the guy has to play or participate if he is healthy, that very simple truth is being lost on some, and the 49ers were not happy with the way that this went down in 2024 with Brandon Aiyuk. They were not happy about his antics leading up to getting that contract. They were not happy with antics after the contract. The 49ers, as a business, have every right and responsibility to protect themselves in contractual language, and they have every right and responsibility to do what's most advantageous for their team from a financial and salary cap standpoint and from a personnel standpoint moving forward. So forcing the issue with Brandon Aiyuk would seem to be in their best interest. Mike says, that's why they let the info out Friday. Yep. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. Why did the Brandon Aiyuk information come from the 49ers? I'm guessing it came from the 49ers in that national report with Mike Silver and Diana Rossini. Why did that information come out on Friday, 4 months after the 49ers voided the 2026 guarantees? And I mean, the only reason it would come out is because they're trying to force an issue with Brandon Aiyuk, and I wouldn't be surprised if they opened up his practice window at some point soon. And then what would happen beyond then is anyone's guess. But forcing the issue allows the 49ers to benefit from the contractual control that they do have over Brandon Aiyuk. But let's talk about the 49ers and the Panthers tomorrow. Because I'm here, we can do one more cool thing. I'm going to move one more time, guys. Because I think that, we're seeing this great view of downtown San Francisco, but we also have the ability to flip the camera here. I know it's a little bit shaky, but we'd flip it around right there. We got a good light here. And it's probably reversed, right? But whatever. Get in a good spot. It's good lighting. It almost looks fake. I mean, it's such a beautiful city. I'm going to take you up the kickoff of Bucs and Rams in about 6 minutes. And I'm going to answer some questions. What's for dinner? Well, Lombardi herself is waiting downstairs, and we're going to decide what's for dinner. We had Boychik bagels for breakfast / brunch. It was around lunch. We were just sitting around watching football. We went and got some bagels in Pacific Heights. Took her shopping this afternoon during the afternoon games. And then we watched the end of Eagles-Cowboys. So we're going to decide what we're going to eat in just a little bit. I might push for, I don't know what I'm going to push for. I haven't had a Taqueria Cancun burrito in a while, but I don't think we're going to make it all the way down to the mission. What is the score expectation for 49ers Panthers? This one I do expect the 49ers to put 30 plus up in this game. I think that San Francisco is at full strength offensively now, obviously minus Brandon Aiyuk, but as close to full strength as you can expect for the 49ers given all those circumstances. The Panthers don't have a great defense. The 49ers should be motivated. Christian McCaffrey should be extra motivated for San Francisco playing against his former team. We know the ground rules. We know what the 49ers have to do offensively. They put up 40 plus against Arizona on the road, and they weren't really using Ricky Pearsall last week. Pearsall's going to be back in the fold. I think this is a 30 plus game for the 49ers. I don't know if Cleveland's going to be a 30 plus game for the 49ers. I think this one is going to be at that level for San Francisco. So how much does Carolina score? I think that Tedero McMillan is going to give San Francisco some trouble. Bryce Young will probably give him trouble. We'll see how Rico Dowdle, who's been running well, does against the 49ers run defense. That's the strength of this 49ers defense. The Niners aren't set up to stonewall anybody defensively right now, so I think Carolina gets into the 20s. But I think that San Francisco can win this going away. 34-21, 34-23 maybe. I think I put 34-23 up on the San Francisco standard as my score prediction. So we'll go with 34-23 49ers over the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, we have a comment saying the 49ers don't get to score 25 plus. They must score 25 plus. That's just the reality of the situation. You just got to talk strategy. And that is, we have somebody saying bigger than life saying the 49ers could go 40 plus for the second straight week. Maybe, but stuff really has to go right for you if you want to go 40 plus twice in a row. All right, enough looking at my ugly face. I think that we got to look at the skyline as dusk hits here in San Francisco, right? Yeah, we got to go for this dusk shot. So let's get this set up because this is the money shot right now. We can tilt this up. Do we want a little bit of Coit Tower in there? Yeah, probably. Look, you could even see the church at Washington Square. Maybe have this tilted that way. Yeah, you can see the Bay Bridge, the church at Washington Square lit up in red. That's down there, bottom left. Transamerica Pyramid, Christmas light at the top of the spire. And the Embarcadero Center out in front. Good stuff. As we approach Rams, Bucs kickoff. Nice little Sunday night cap off, and then it's the 49ers and the Panthers tomorrow. And I am predicting that San Francisco will indeed beat Carolina. Mike, anything else you want me to go through? I want to go here and look to see if we've got, you can see my shadow actually there. That's kind of crazy. I'm going to see if we have any questions that you want me to answer before kickoff of this next game. Mike asking, do we go live tonight? Well, I'll tell you what, if the Rams lose the Bucs, we'll definitely go live. Lombardi herself and I have to get some dinner right now. We're gonna watch the game, we're gonna have a good time. And then we'll do a live, not from the roof, we'll go inside at that point. But yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun to do a live tonight. But think of that.